Welcome back to another episode of the Valentine Show. Let's get into it right away. We're going to be talking today about the stimulus. Where is the stimulus? Have the Congress forgotten about the stimulus? I think Congress has done a horrible job, and we're going to be, I'm going to be giving you a little bit of an update as to, is the money coming before Christmas? Is there anything coming before Christmas? The likelihood of that happening is almost you finding unicorns in Mars. That's where we're at with the stimulus. But let me give you a recap. There's still, believe it or not, there's still maybe some light at the end of the tunnel. I said that, but I mean, there might be still a chance that there might be a possibility. I don't know the likelihood of that. We're in the last month of the year. Obviously, if things continue the way they are continuing, meaning with the transition, if that's what's going to happen regarding the presidency of the United States of America, the Congress is still, or the United States in general is busy with that. And I guess they have forgotten about the American people. But let's talk about it, right? Where was I where we last left off? Okay, we left off at the Republicans offering $1.8 trillion and the Democrats offering $2.2 trillion. There was an impasse or a deadlock regarding on the amount of money that they were going to send to states, local governments and states, because according to some Republicans, they did not want to bail out blue states, meaning states that were already in the red before. There were some dissonance regarding the amount that should be sent, for example, to states like New York, who was in problems before the pandemic, and now they don't want, for example, the federal government doesn't want to be taken for a ride. At least the Republicans and the more fiscally conservative members of Congress don't want to take him for a ride with a governor like Cuomo, who has been here who knows how many years, 6 years or whatever it is, and have a budget deficit because they can't balance their sheets or whatever the reason is. So that was an impasse there. It was a little bit also of an impasse or a little bit of friction regarding the unemployment insurance, the amount. I remember in around March they passed the help that was going to give us people that were unemployed, right? It was going to give us an additional $600, which that extra $600 did put some people over the amount that they received at their job. So that was basically motivating people to not go to work, right? So that was a problem. But I think they are willing to shift on that a little bit. The president, obviously Republican, did want 400, so I think they're willing to shift a little bit on that. But again, that impasse regarding how much money to the local businesses. Okay, where are we now? Brace yourself. We were talking about the Republicans offering 1.8 and the Democrats offering 2.2 trillion. Where are we now? Let's kick it down to $908 billion. We have drastically lowered it down. We are under $1 trillion. Now they're into the $908 billion. This is where we're at now. Drastic difference, very, very cheap. And the Republican, and this is actually a bipartisan group of lawmakers that are, I mean, it's good that it is bipartisan, that is both Democrats and Republicans that are working on this bill together to see if something happens, because there are some deadlines that are coming up at the end of the year, some protections that are finishing, and that's going to put more people on unemployment and more people that are going to be evicted from their jobs, apart from small businesses not been able to open, and the second wave of the Rona coming back up, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of things still going, yet these people in Congress still don't pass anything. Okay, this is thanks to CBS News. Look what this says here. Yet there is a reason for optimism for some form of stimulus by the end of the year. First, a bipartisan group of lawmakers is working on stimulus funding, with Democratic Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia tweeting on Tuesday morning that the group wants a $908 billion package, which includes $288 billion for to refresh the Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses and $180 billion in unemployment. And however, the bill does not appear to include for another round of stimulus checks. That $1,200 per couple, and $500 child credit, that is not included on here if that passes. But for the people that are receiving unemployment insurance, this would give some extra money. How much? I think I looked in somewhere else, not here. I think it was gonna be like $300 extra apart from your regular unemployment insurance, which is again, I understand the people that are fiscally conservative, people who don't want the United States to get into more debt that we are. But the thing is that, okay, they're not opening up the economies. They're closing down the economy. So they're closing down the economies, and your bills are still due. So if if the government is closing down the economy, they should do a couple of things. Either stop the bill collecting, stop rent, stop all that. But they can't do that. They cannot do that constitutionally. They cannot do that. Why? They cannot force, for example, let's say you have a business. They cannot force the owner of that business or the landlord to not collect his rent. They could pay him, but they cannot force him not to collect on the tenant's rent. I mean, so the government has two ways about it. Stop the bill collecting, meaning pay the bills of the people that we owe, or give us money to pay the bills. One of the two. There's just no way about it. Again, it's a crisis going on here. Right? The government cannot both shut down your business and shut down the way you make money and not help you or put a stop to not paying your bills. It cannot go both ways. And they're doing both ways. They're shutting down your business, and they're not giving you to pay your bills. So, I mean, it's one or the two. And we have to look at this, to be honest. We can't just, it's more money being spent. No, it's a crisis that we're going through. And I mean, if it's more money being spent, it's more money being spent, plain and simple. Look what it says here. Today, I'm announcing this is a small breakdown of exactly where it's going to go, the money. Look at it. This is a tweet from Senator Joe Manchin. Again, he's a Democrat, but he has shown to work with Republicans. Today, I'm announcing a bipartisan Camaro framework for let me not even say it, for Rona relief package. This proposal will direct more than $100 billion to help small businesses, which are suffering bigly, healthcare providers, and unemployed Americans who need help now. It is time to put politics aside and do what's best for our country. And I mean, you should have done that like September, man. To be honest. Let's read here. Rona emergency relief framework. So this is how the breakdown of it. $288 billion for small businesses. Great. There's nothing wrong with that. $180 billion in additional unemployment insurance. Go for it. Hey, $160 billion for state and local and tribal governments. That's where the problem is in the other bills, but $160 billion, hey, go for it, man. $82 billion for education. I'm like, why do they need $82 billion in school? I don't understand why they need $82 billion, but $45 billion for transportation. I mean, and this is the thing, the U.S. government bails out these huge corporations. Look, the airlines were like a month into it. They were like, yo, we're suffering, we're bleeding, we don't have, like, they don't have no money, the airline. So basically their whole business model is run on debt. Because I could remember like 1 month into it, they were like, yo, we don't have no money. Like, already. So look, so they're bailing out for so look what it says here. $45 billion for transportation, airlines, airports, buses, transit, Amtrak, etc. Okay. So the American government is bailing out businesses, yet they're not bailing out the American people. Does that make sense? That makes no sense whatsoever. Can we bail out the American people? $35 billion for healthcare provider relief fund, good. $26 billion for nutrition, that's also good. $25 for rental housing assistance, great. $16 billion for vaccine development and distribution of testing and tracing, good. $12 billion for CDFI/MDI community lender support. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but I'm guessing it's some type of money lending. And then if it's gonna be easier, I guess, for some people to borrow in this time. Well, I mean, people are gonna borrow. There's people need to borrow, right? There's people's credit cards who are maxed out. $10 billion for U.S. Postal Service. This was the U.S. Postal Service debacle is a problem for another impasse, which you don't want to bail out a failing agency, right? Why would you want to bail it out? $10 billion for childcare, that's good. $10 billion for a broadband. What is that? $10 billion for a broadband internet service? $5 billion for opioid treatment and $4 billion for student loans. Again, all these programs, a lot of these things have taken a hit because the U.S. economy is not up to par, right? It's not producing the amount of money it's supposed to be producing. And remember, it's pivotal for the U.S. government to want the U.S. economy, me and private businesses, to be working. Why? Because from private businesses and from people working, they collect the taxes that are able to fund all these free program that these people do. Now. Let's look a little bit here. What is it that we are on the edge of a cliff? We're not out the woods yet. The economy is doing great. People are doing great. We're going into the what they call the fourth quarter. In economy, right? We're going into the fourth quarter of economic activity in the United States. A very important quarter, obviously, because of what? The holidays. Yes, that's correct. So because of the holidays, there's a lot of buying, there's a lot of this, there's a lot of that, which obviously the economy does great. But is that going to happen this year with people not necessarily making the amount of money and some of these programs running out? Cyber Monday just went through, Black Friday just went through. I think Amazon announced that it has been the best Black Friday ever. So people are still buying, right? But are they going to be able to buy in Christmas? Are they going to be able to buy now? Look what we are on the edge of a cliff for. More certain is that millions of households face deepening financial problems, which are only likely to worsen once the aid and protection from CARES Act expires at the end of the year. About 6.7 people could be evicted. This is very important in the coming months as federal eviction moratorium ends December 31st, according to a report from National Low Income Housing Coalition and the University of Arizona. Look at this, and this is scary. That would approach the number of people who lost their homes for foreclosure during the 2008 financial crisis and ensuring a recession. More people will be evicted from their house. It says here also not more, but that number will be around the same of people evicted from the home as the 2008 financial crisis. But it doesn't stop there, and almost 12 million jobless workers are slated to be cut off from unemployment aid the day after Christmas. Again, 12 million, these are huge numbers. This is going to impact the economy. According to an analysis by the Century Foundation, a progressive think tank, the cutoff will reduce a total household income by about $12 billion per month. That is a lot of money. Government, bureaucrats in government not doing what they're supposed to do. They had to do this months ago, didn't do it. This is what we're facing by the end of the year. And not only that, there's just so much stuff going on at the end of the year. 2020 might end with a bang in so many different ways, regarding the election, which is not over, regarding the Rona, the vaccines, the economy, the evictions, the this and that. I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Remember to like, to share, help the channel grow by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and turning on the notifications. I am Valentine, God, family, country, me, Valentine. I am out.